Hey everybody, coming to you from Oracle Park. Hour and a half after one of the craziest games of the year. Just a really good baseball game. I think no matter how this one ended, it would have been a really interesting baseball game. Fascinating game, even if Patty Bailey hits a walk-off sac fly there instead of a walk-off grand slam. Of course, he hits a grand slam, so this place is going nuts. Still hear people out in Soma having a good time. They're still cleaning up the mess here. An insane baseball game. And Bob Melvin, he was a little bit late getting his post-game press conference, and he sat down and he smiled and he said, "Where do you guys want to start?" And that was the right question. I mean, so much happened tonight. I don't even think Piguero's going to end up in anybody's game stories, but he just breezes through the top of the 10th against Mookie, got some help against Freddie Freeman, and strands the automatic runner on second with the top of the Dodgers lineup coming up. And it won't even be talked about. It was that kind of game. I want to start with Justin Verlander. He is 42 years old. He reached 20 years of Major League Baseball service time today, which is an insane number. Just for comparison's sake, Logan Webb is around 6. So Logan has been in our lives for a long time now. He's so far away from even getting close to where Justin Verlander is in terms of service time, in terms of how long he's been doing this. And for him to be pitching this way in September at the end of a long season, with everything that happened early in the year, the lack of support, his struggles, this is the first time since the second game of his season that his ERA is under 4. It was way above that. He has been whittling it down. To have 18 consecutive scoreless innings at one point here in September, that ended with Michael Conforto. Of course, it had to be Michael Conforto. Anyone who listens to Giants talk knows that Cole tracks his stuff religiously. It had to be the former Giant. Conforto, by the way, 3 homers here all of last season, has 2 now as a Dodger here at Oracle Park in 4 games this season. But anyway, that is what it is. But for Verlander, 7 innings tonight, 1 run against a good lineup, a lineup that seemed to have found its footing against the Rockies back home. It might have just been the Rockies, but I know talking to some Dodgers people today, they did feel like they started to find something earlier this week and some momentum. And here comes 42-year-old Justin Verlander just completely shutting that down. His slider tonight was awesome, through 25 of them, 20 strikes from his slider, 8 swinging strikes. All of his strikeouts were on the slider. It's as good as it's been all year. Again, like one of those things, could have written an entire story, filmed an entire YouTube video just on his slider, but so much happened tonight. I want to get to Matt Chapman and Dom Smith. Really important play early in this game. You never know in those innings. Those are always ones that I kind of mark in my scorecard because it is 1 run there if Chapman doesn't make that play, but you never know after that. It might be, a single there and this one spins and Verlander ends up going 4 2/3 or 5 innings, whatever it is, 5 2/3, and the bullpen has to come in and try to soak up some innings at the end. But they kept it a Giants lead. That play kept the Giants lead. And unfortunately, Dom Smith got hurt on it. He is going to have an MRI tomorrow, and we'll see. The good news for the Giants, it was upper hamstring, which is better as far as these things are concerned. If you remember, like Angel Pagan, it was always down near the knee. Those were huge issues for him. But they are a little hopeful because it's up like high on his thigh. But again, it is a hamstring, and late in the year, this is, I think, going to cost him some time. We'll see. It's an expanded roster. They can be a little bit patient, and certainly Dom's an important player. But the MRI will determine all of that. What comes next? Obviously everyone goes straight to Bryce Eldridge. The easy answer here, I mean, Rafael Devers will play first. Wilmer Flores will DH. They have those 2 guys. This is not the sexiest answer, but Jerar Encarnacion has been rehabbing. The Giants wanted to take a look at him at some point. They still like him. I remember what Jerar did right before he got hurt. So I think he might be the guy who potentially gets the call if they need some help here. There's also guys like Tyler Fitzgerald who can provide some more versatility. We did see tonight just how important it is to have, speed, to have defense, have some extra options on your bench there in these close games. But I think the main solution here is just Devers at first and Wilmer at first for as long as they're without Dominic Smith. We'll get an answer on that on Saturday or this weekend. I mentioned speed, defense coming off the bench. Grant McCray, I don't know that I've covered many stretches like that. I've been doing this since 2012. Guy gets thrown out at the plate and comes back and immediately throws the guy out at third. Like that on paper, it doesn't look crazy, but to me, it was a horrible send. To have that happen and recover from that and immediately throw the guy out at third, and not only throw a guy out at third, but 101.7 miles per hour, the hardest throw by a Giants player, position player in the StatCast era. The previous record was Austin Slater. Now, certainly you're an outfielder, you get some momentum there. That helps, but still, just an absolute rocket from right field. Grant did tell us when he went out there, he said, "Oh, okay, it happened. Now it's time to go take one away," and he was able to do that, and that was huge given where they are. I mean, it's still Freddie Freeman coming up after that, so that was a big play by Grant McCray, and I think the most impressive thing is he hasn't played really this month. I mean, he's come in as a defensive replacement 3 times. He has not gotten in the bat this month. He didn't throw. I mean, he threw before the game, and then he made 3 throws in the cage, threw some plyo balls trying to warm up. One of them knocked over one of Verlander's water bottles that he had set up meticulously. So stopped throwing after that. But to make that throw 101.7, very impressive. And to do that, to have, he's kind of a more confident player. So I'm not surprised that Grant was able to overcome what happened in the bottom of the ninth. But that could have been a real gut punch to lose a game that way. If you do lose, to not be able to come through in the ninth and lose the game in extra innings, that would have been a gut punch. Instead, they're celebrating and Grant's having fun in the clubhouse and saying, tell Casey Schmidt I throw harder than him, which somebody did and Casey denied it. But Grant now has the record. Casey, you're gonna have to try to beat that. Maybe get a running start somewhere at short or third and try to do that. But this one ends obviously with Patrick Bailey, his 6th career walk-off, 4th career walk-off homer. He is the first player, I think this was Sarah Langs who dug this up. This won't surprise you. The first player in MLB history to get a walk-off grand slam and a walk-off inside the park home run in the same season. So Patrick, one day, he has 2 young kids. He will have some serious highlights to show his kids one day. And it's been a rough season for him, but I think still generally, someone they feel comfortable late in games. He is calm in those situations. He doesn't panic. You certainly don't expect a grand slam, but I know the bench, talking to some guys after this game, they felt like he was going to get it done. He goes out there and gets the slam. That got his OPS above 600 for the first time since April. He's going to win the Gold Glove. He might win the Platinum Glove. The bar for him offensively is much lower than it is for other people. If he's going to contribute like he has the last couple of weeks, the last few days, 3 homers in his last 4 games, that is absolutely huge for these guys. That's a really, really, really good player if Patrick does anything at the plate because of how good he is defensively. And again, talking to some Dodgers people I've known for a long time before this game, and they were just raving about what Patrick does behind the plate. Ironically, he goes out there and beats him with his bat. First right-handed homer for him in 2 years. So not the way you expect this one to end, but ultimately a win for the Giants on a night when literally everybody else in the wild card race lost. The Mets lost. They never win anymore. They got blown out early by Bruce Bochy's Rangers. The Reds lost up in Sacramento. The Diamondbacks got walked off in Minneapolis. They had a late lead and just completely blew it in the ninth there. The Padres, who the Giants are, by the way, not too far behind. If something crazy happens here down the stretch, they lost to the Rockies at home. Obviously, the Dodgers lost. The Mets lost. So, yeah, the Giants now half a game behind the Mets. It is 1.5 games if you include the tiebreaker, which you have to with the Mets. Fangraphs currently has them at 16% to make the postseason. It was a 6% jump tonight with that win. They were around 10% during this game. I don't know how this math is done exactly. I'm sure somebody could explain this to me. I could probably look into this and do some research, a deep dive into how the math is done. 16% seems a little crazy given that they are 1.5 games back with, a decent amount of time left here. It does not take into account how bad the Mets are playing and how good the Giants are playing. This is all just math and strength of schedule, I think, and stuff like that. But I think the Giants have to be the favorite right now to get that third wild card spot. I mean, the Mets have absolutely collapsed, and the Reds are behind them. They have an easier schedule, but again, lost to the A's tonight. Nobody's hotter than the Giants right now, not just in the National League, in the big leagues. Nobody's hotter than them, and this was the stretch that I think was going to define their season. 7 games in 10 days against the Dodgers. Some really, really tough pitching on the other side. Yamamoto was awesome tonight, and the Giants find a way to win. That is what they've been doing for about 3 weeks now. They find a way to celebrate. They do this every night now. And sometimes you just get rolling and it can't be stopped. And we'll see where this goes the rest of this weekend and next week. Certainly a tough road trip and 4 games at Dodger Stadium next week. None of that is going to be easy, but they put themselves in a really good spot. And I'll finish with this. The one thing that stood out to me in the clubhouse tonight was you started to hear guys mention playoffs and postseason. And I think Justin Verlander, especially, who's been around a long time, started to say, look, this was a playoff atmosphere. These young guys experienced this. They got a taste of this. We're going to be better for this. Um, it was something I think they were trying to avoid the last few weeks, but it's unavoidable now. They are right there in the thick of this wild card race and making they were making it interesting already. Now I think they are really threatening to, potentially have that final spot going into that last week when they host the Cardinals and the Rockies here, and especially the Rockies. It's a nice way to finish up. So they put themselves in a great spot, and they've done it with a really, really thrilling and interesting win.